आपणकर प्रिय बही कौन पढ़ा भल लगे?
All books on self-help.
मैडम जितेबाला आपण बुक टॉप रे जॉइन कले तेबे से समय आपण को कौन माने सिखिबा को मिलिथिला?
It is not about learning something. It's about understanding the possibility and the potential repository of books can mean to a community. Because we grew up in a time where books were very important to us. But we are in a time today where books are an option.
नमस्कार श्रोता बंधु मैं आरजे सुभश्री आपण शुणुछंती 90.4 सोआ रेडियो। शुभेच्छा जणे स्वागत करुछि आपण समस्त को अस्मिता कार्यक्रम आउ एक नुआ अध्याय को। कह जाए नारी होछि समाजर गोटे मूलदुआ। जेमिति आम घरे ठीक सेमिति समाज को गढ़ी तोलिबारे मध्य नारी मानकर अनेक अवदान रहिछि। किंतु आज आम सहित जो नारी जोड़ी होइछंती तांकर यात्रा खूब नियारा, जी कि निज बयस सीमा हिसाब रे अनेक गुड़ाई काम करिसेंती, निजे सशक्त होइछंती एवं ता सहित अनेक नारी मानकु मध्य सशक्त करिबारे सेतिकी क्षमता हासिल करि पारिछंती, जी कि लोकमानकर कथा बुझी पारी गोटे सुंदर यात्रा रे निजको नियोजित करिसेंती। से होइछंती को फाउंडर ऑफ द बुक टॉप। तेबे चलंतु तांको आजर कार्यक्रम को स्वागत करिबा। से होइछंती प्रीति एम पटनायक। नमस्कार मैम।
Namaste.
स्वागत करछि आपनको आज अस्मिता कार्यक्रम को।
Thank you and I'm very happy to be here too.
केमती अछंती?
बोलो अच्छी।
ओडिया बुझी आसे?
ओडिया बुझुछि मगर एते बोलो कहि पारिबि नहीं।
टिके टिके चेष्टा करूछंती। ओके निश्चित भाबरे जेहेतु आपण आज आम सामने रे अछंती आपनको विषय रे बहुत किछि कथा सुनिबा हम लिसनर्स मानको पाखरे मध्ये पहुंचेबा। तबे आपण केमती आपणकर जर्नी स्टार्ट करिथिले एट बुक टॉप, केमती जॉइन करथिले?
Okay, my journey with BookTuff started with me moving to Orissa in 2017, and actually this BookTuff is my friend Kanak Mishra's baby. She started it and I had come in and I was watching what she was doing there, and I had come in with a lot of ideas about community and about connecting with people and teaching, because that's my forte. And at one point we decided, why are we doing two separate things, rather we join together, because the end of the day the connect was for people. So when we joined both together, the book stuff, which was all about books and people, and we're teaching about languages and mental wellness and everything, so it just made sense, and we are good friends and we love working together, so that's how we are together now.
आपणकर प्रिय बही कौन पढ़ा भल लगे?
All books on self-help, or anything that I could learn that could be of help to somebody else, and anything interesting and new.
आपणकर नेटिव प्लेस कोठी?
Born in Bangalore and grew up all around South India, that is in Andhra and Karnataka, because my father had a transferable job. Then my first job was in Chennai with the Taj group of hotels, and after marriage I moved to Dubai. So my whole young adult life from 96 to 2017 was lived there, and I got a chance to come back to Orissa, which is actually my sasural, and I get to immerse myself in the culture of Orissa and teach my daughters also about Orissa by living here.
Wow.
And I came alone because my husband's still there in Dubai for his professional goals are there, and so me and my family goals and connect to culture and everything over here is what I'm exploring.
So you love culture so much?
I love it.
Then आपणकर arranged marriage or love marriage?
Love marriage.
Wow, nice. तेबे केमती कोन देखा हिथिला सन को सहित?
We met at work. I think what other people see is our names, which match. Mine is Preethii, his is Preethim.
Oh.
But and everybody keep asking, who's changed your name? But basically, at that time, I had just left home and I was on a new job in a new city. And he was one of those very caring people who used to ask, how am I? What am I doing? And we were part of groups of friends. So, at some point there was a connect, I guess. But we were best friends for a long time.
Wow, nice. Means Preetham words Preeti.
Something like that, yes.
Very nice. तेबे मैडम आपनकर ग्रेजुएशन परे केमती कोन आपनकर जॉब लाइफ थिला जेमती कि कहउतले फास्ट तो आपन जॉब करूथले तापर आमे किछि किछि सुनिछु आपन मूवी लाइन वेब सीरीज ए सब को मध्ये एडवर्टाइजमेंट करबा एडिटिंग करबा काम करथले.
Okay, it's a very interesting journey and I guess not everybody are as lucky as me to explore so many different experiences in one lifetime, and I think that's a blessing that has come my way, and I hope I'm doing a lot of justice for it. Basically, I had a very nice, quiet life, colony life, because my father was in thermal power stations. So we grew up in a lot of remote places because that's where thermal power stations would. It's not remote, but our homes were remote, far away from cities. So I've grown up in places like Vijayawada, Raichur, Ramagundam, and I did my graduation in Raichur from Gulbarga. I was doing commerce because when I went to college, at those times there was no career guidance.
Oh.
My friend, after 10th standard, we were in KGF at that time, that is in Kolar in Karnataka, because from Andhra to Karnataka there was a shift during the board. So 10th standard, since I was in Raichur, I went to Kola Goldfields. That's where my mother's native is, because it was the same state. My father was transferred to Andhra. So we finished 10th, and those days there was no 11th and 12th. It was state board there. And so my group of friends just said, oh, let's go to college and choose. So I went with them for admissions. I looked at that board. There were 3 options: science, art, commerce. I'm bad at maths. I looked science. I said, no science. I looked at arts and I thought, oh, that's too much of writing. And the only option was commerce. I did not know what I was getting into. But once I started the classes, they were simply amazing. I did not know I could love commerce as much as I did. So I started with commerce. Then my father got a transfer back to Karnataka, Raichur. So that's when I went there back for my graduation. Did my BCom because there was only a women's college. There were colleges. The options were limited. I wanted to do BBA. But at that time, I'm an only daughter with 2 younger brothers. My parents were a little hesitant to send me to hostel. And my dad, of all people, who actually has made me so independent, he was like, how would you manage? And I gave in to that, so I went into BCom. But on my own, I went and I pursued a master's externally from Karnataka University. And at one point my life keeps changing like this. Something comes up, and I see something and the trajectory changes. So there was an ad in the paper where the Taj Group was hiring youngsters from different backgrounds, because their premise was it's a business hotel. So they need people in their front office to be able to converse with business people on various topics. So they picked graduates from different streamlines, and they trained you in the entire front office operations, preparing you to be front office manager. So it was a 2-year program, 3 rounds of interviews. We had to go to Chennai, and it was suddenly from a small city of Raichur to the big city of Chennai. It was intense, but it was nice. Passed all those interviews, and I was in Taj before I knew it, and that was my first job there.
Very nice. तापरे आपण ओडिसा को केबे आसिले?
2017.
After marriage?
No, I got married in 96, but at that time my husband's were here and they were based in Jamshedpur. My father-in-law was working there, so they hadn't moved in here. After our marriage, they retired and moved to Bhubaneswar. So the first time I came to Bhubaneswar was in 1998, and I loved the place from then. But my whole youth was in Dubai, wherein my career was very. I'll tell you short about it, because to reach Bhubaneswar and what I do in Bhubaneswar today, it's what I did there and got the opportunity to experience there has made me the person I am today. When I first went there, actually, he got the offer and he got the job. And I was like, I would love to, he can go if I get a job too. I mean, I just said it. I didn't think the people who were headhunting him at that time would take it seriously, and they offered me a position which was like an F&B cost controller to help in the restaurants, because he's a chef. He's all into food. So I went there for a year. I saw it. It was nice. And then I saw that personal assistants and assistants were getting a lot more, and I was like, I think I can do that. So I went for interviews, and I did go into a company, with Swedish company that does office interiors. That is something like IKEA but for offices. So their clients were all the top clients that were coming into Dubai at that time, like Microsoft and all that. So I got a chance to work with an amazing international company. I went in very small as a receptionist secretary. Within a year, I went and I said, okay, I'm handling all this and 8 managers, so can we renegotiate? They were very happy. They said yes. And in a year's time, I was also the admin and office manager handling HR. And internationally, HR is difficult because you're handling different passports and visas and all that. So it was a lot of learning and a lot of coordination. And in that process, I also became the PA to the marketing director who was handling major clients. So I was not only doing the design department's correspondence, I was doing his, and I was being the office administrator. And while I was there, and I just love computers, I saw all the salespeople studying their things. I'm very curious. I opened a program and I started putting in all their data to see and study where their sales were coming from, their leads. So I did a study which was very helpful to the company, and it became a practice for them to have it, and they did not know they could get insights like that. So that was a nice thing I learned there. But one day I saw an ad in the paper again, and it was something called CIW. It was a Certified Internet Webmaster. It was in 1999, and it appealed to me. I went and met them, and they said, we would teach you how to make websites. And I was like, wow, I need to know what's behind. So I joined the course, and there's no looking back. And when I did the course, I realized I like design. And I came to India for 3 months. My brother took me to an institute, and he put me into all the programming courses. I died through them. I did it, but it wasn't appealing. I came back to Dubai, and that very same institute, they asked me if I would like to teach. I started off with Word and Excel, and in no time, it was a corporate training, and that's how I ended up accidentally into corporate training. I was interested in design, very self-taught in that, from those very manuals. I learned everything from Flash to Dreamweaver to, today they're all obsolete, Adobe and Illustrator. And I used to take those courses for corporate. So that's how I ended up into training. And from then on, I didn't have kids early, and we were thinking of adopting, and my daughter came after 9 years. So I had a long run of exploring life. And when she came in, it was her first birthday, and we needed a cake. I had over 100 guests, and I was like, where can I get a commercial cake? Even though my husband's a chef, I was like, it has to be personal. And I said, I'm making the cake. I take on projects like this, which if anybody hears it, they'd say, how is she going to do that? But I have to thank my husband. He's an amazingly supportive person, because now when I'm telling you, I'm like, did I actually do that? And he actually supported me. I ended up making the cakes for 100 people of our guests, and that's when I discovered fondant cake decorating. That started my journey into fondant decorating, and before I knew it, I was making it for friends, and I was making it for family, and I had a little roaring business at home there. And over time, when I was expecting my second daughter in 6 years, in that time, lots of friends, community, I chanced upon a group of friends who we put together a women's clothing brand. wherein we knew the pain points of Indian women wearing Western clothes were always the body fit. So we decided to design clothes for that. So I used to train women on what to wear for the body types. A friend was a designer, she designed it, and so we used to go to the Dubai fabric markets, which is well known in the world, and I always loved stitching and all that. So it was a creative outlet there, and that's when I ended up running that and exhibitions and groups and learning about networking. So that was a very good run till we actually took it to a fashion show, and also we went on TV for that. And then as life takes its courses, my mother-in-law passed away, and it was time to consider India. And at that time my daughter was in 7th, and we noticed kids who went abroad out to the Western countries, they managed well, but the kids who came to India were not able to manage so well. So we realized that you can't be Indian and not have the Indian things of managing the jugadu. That was never there. So we said our kids can't miss out on that, because that is what makes you manage anywhere in the world. So that's how we ended up coming to Bhubaneswar. But before that, when I was doing the trainings for the web designing, because I used to teach the subjects, web designing was very new in the market. So most advertising companies did not have their own webmaster. I used to freelance for them. And that's when I got to make a lot of websites for companies that they needed those websites for. And also when it came to different things, if it was an ad film and they needed to correct the timing and stuff like that, they couldn't find anybody, I was the answer. And when at that time there was a company called Brother International, messengers were there, and they had those little ads that needed to go in, and they couldn't find anybody. It came to me and I did it. So I feel those were my milestones, which were very happy. Then there was a cornflakes company that needed their whole film edited, so I ended up doing it. Things like that. And then I came in 2017 year. But before that, when I decided I'm going to Orissa, I was wondering, I always wanted to teach. My first, as growing up, I thought I must be a lecturer or teacher, because it's something that comes naturally. So I said, okay, let me go and do the course. I just called up a number and asked, do you have the course? I did not know what I was getting into. I don't know why I ended up doing that. It was the CELTA course from Cambridge. It's a very difficult course to get in and also accomplish, because you get an entire adult teaching program in a month, which is not teaching, it's you learning and doing. That's the method. Signed up for it. I literally had to forget my family and let my husband run the house. My hall became my study area. Morning to evening was the classes and the practicals. In the nights I was doing the notes. It's a very difficult course, especially when you're not in the teaching line, which I wasn't. But I wanted to do it. I did it, and I came here with that. I just thought I'll go into training. That's all. When I came here, but today I'm doing a lot more. I think I'll give you a chance to ask me a question
Definitely. माने आपण कहबा को गले सबु दिगो को आपण छुई जाइछथि और एक्सप्लोर करिछथि लाइफ टाको.
Exactly.
Definitely. तबे आपण को हैंडलूम साड़ी पिंधिबा को केते भल लागे?
I think I grew up loving saris, my mom's saris, because we were in Bangalore in South India. My dad used to buy my mom Mysore silk saris. And my mom used to wear them so gracefully. So seeing my mom wearing saris is what started my love for saris. And every time I would find a sari, I would drape it. I've even cut up a very beautiful sari, which I regret till today to stitch, because I wanted to stitch something. And that's how lovely my parents were. And when I could, and in Raichur, when my mom was buying saris, that time it was like a colony, and we used to have a sari wala coming home. They all used to buy saris, and I started my sari collection from there as a teenager. And when I moved to Taj, I wore the most amazing, beautiful Kanchivaram saris there on the job. It was never a problem. I mean, with 3 pence you can dance in a sari. That's how well they groomed us to carry a sari. And then ever after, once I got married, when I got married, the saris that came in my trousseau were all Mysore silk because I did not have any other experience of the different types of saris. The ignorance was there because I was working, and when I got married to my husband, all the gifts that came were the beautiful Oriya saris, Orissa handloom saris, and I stick to handloom because I'm tall and normal saris don't fit me. So handloom because of the length, but I didn't have many cotton. When I came to Orissa, I realized I had a lot of silk saris, which were only special saris, because every year my husband came into Orissa, he'd pick up 2 and bring me. His choice is also beautiful, so I never actually had to buy my saris. But when I came to Orissa, I realized silk and Orissa climate does not match most of the year, and I needed cottons. That's when I started buying my own saris. And I learnt a lot of the different varieties, and I got quite a good collection of cotton handlooms.
मैडम जेतेबेले आपण बुक टॉप रे जॉइन कले तेबे से समय आपण को कोन माने सिखिबा को मिलिथिला?
It is not about learning something, it's about understanding the possibility and the potential repository of books can mean to a community, because we grew up in a time where books were very important to us, but we are in a time today where books are an option. They're not a necessity. People would choose a book because they're bored, or they would choose a book when they travel. Very few people turn to books as something that is necessary. And for us, life is always wonderful because you have a book. It's an escape to another world. As a child, I was known as a kid who read her entire library in school. I did not know. When my mother visited the school about 20 years later, the headmistress told her, "Your daughter is known for that." And I didn't realize that my reading habit or the obsession of reading had caught up with me like that, with that name. But when I came here and Kanak had started this library, we saw the possibilities of it being a wonderful vehicle to connect back to families, to bring in the ease of intergenerational connections with books. And so, me being me, we used that as a tool. We made a wonderful website and we started subscription programs. And when I was looking for communities to belong, because I was so used to having communities in Dubai, and one day I had to start my own community because I couldn't find what I needed in any of them. So that's how Mompreneurs came up. Mompreneurs is basically a name where people all around the world know that's the place you join to restart whatever you want. It's a very helpful community. So I thought, okay, if people like me come back, they would also look for something similar. So I kept it like a beacon to attract people. So we are now Mompreneurs of Odisha, the group, and we are about 350 people now. It's grown over 7 years. Basically, it's a platform for women to connect, and we have grown. Everybody keeps adding their friends, and there are people from different backgrounds, but basically it's a place where you can connect ideas. And so that's one thing we have. The community came from the book Dove and the need for the community also. And as we have progressed over time, because I love teaching, I have explored trainings. I have gone with other training companies. I've actually come to SOA and done your campus to corporate for 2 years, and I went to hotel management school and I've taught them to prepare for interviews, but it was still not enough. So we said, how would we actually, it was a learning for me because I have never worked in India post 96, so a lot has changed. So that's why we went out and worked with other companies to understand it. Now from the book Turf, we have programs which is books to boardrooms, where we use books. We use fiction and non-fiction as the tools to help students navigate their careers, because academically all kids are gifted, but life skills, zero, because they don't fall back on books. But I feel books are that many people's ideas. That's another education. When you read books, the knowledge you gain from books, you can't gain them from lived experience. That's the experience of so many lives lived. You learn that you know life. So we bring that into condensed models for students, wherein we build their confidence, we build their communication through books. And we feel that is a wonderful way to connect. In communities, we take summer reading programs to children where we teach them a lot many skills. Summer is a very good time to pick up skills, and we run them in small groups, but it's very popular and children love it. They'll read books, they do drama, they write, they learn creative writing, they learn expressions. And progressing to that, we started a movement because today, with everybody addicted to screens, we found it very difficult for people to understand what we do as a business. They say library, and the pause that comes after that is very difficult to explain to people. When we actually, I had asked our community where I live that I would like to have a reading program, and I gave them a proposal during Durga Puja. They took a long time to get back to me, but that time gave me time to think, and I'm like, why are we thinking small? Why are we thinking only about our community? Why not take it bigger? One of those things came about, and Kanak and me started talking about it, and we decided, what about taking it all over the city? Anyway, we are connected. So that's how Bhubaneswar Reads Together came about, wherein the premise is anyone pick up a book for 21 days, read for 20 minutes. That 20 minutes of being away from screen time and the cortisol reset that you get, the stress goes once you read. You're disconnected from the screen, you're involved in something. That is the most simplest way to better mental health. But we took it one step further and said, read together. So we asked communities to join at least once a month, or circles to join once in 2 weeks, to read together, because that's the time there is interconnectedness. They talk about the books, they talk about feelings. It's a very non-intrusive way of actually taking care of somebody's mental health and also social connect, because I feel kids these days, they haven't learned social skills because of being connected to the screen all the time. From that came the Sari Readathon, because we said, how can we focus on women? Women run the home.
Yes.
Women are the heart of everything. But who looks after the women? No one. She's looking after everybody, but who's giving her a break? So how to get her to books? We said, women love saris. I love saris. Kanak loves saris. We just love saris. We said, how about making it a sari readathon? So we had our very first reading in January, where we made it a mini sari readathon. We did it in my community, and we did it at the library, the book turf, and it was a superb hit because women connected with saris, they connected with stories, they went on the 21-day challenge, and they loved talking about it. And slowly circles started forming of women reading together. And we got an opportunity thanks to OCF, where they were having their expo, and they invited us in as an activity partner. They said, what would you like to do? We said, Sari Readathon, of course, because it's March. I mean, it was like a gift. It was an amazing opportunity. Ekamra?
Yes.
Sari Readathon, bring all the women together. But while we were doing these things of Bhubaneswar Reads Together, because of our community mompreneurs, we knew the pain points of many women, and we started another movement. Everything comes in doubles or triples. It was called Astitva Pratiksha, where we got an opportunity to put in a petition with the Chief Minister from another group. So we worked it out and we put in all the pain points together. But to give a petition also is very difficult. One of the requests on that petition was a help desk for women. And that came in through our proposal to OCF, where we said we will call the help desk Viksit Sangini. Viksit Sangini, which is a help desk for urban women, because we feel government has a lot of policies, there's a lot of help, but we urban women do not know how to connect to that. And we end up not being able to take advantage of the opportunities that are already there. And there's a lot of suffering, there's a lot of silence, and there's a lot of struggle that need not be there if there was an intermediary of a help desk that would help people. So we put in the proposal to OCF, and the Women's Wing Chairman, Ms. Ushashri Rath, she was very proactive to that. And she says, why not? But we said we need a platform and we need someone to help us with it, because we are just a 7-year-old company and you do need the community to help. So that, okay, we'll take it with you. But with the readathon comes what? With the readathon, the community is involved. People who are leaders in the community become ambassadors. Very senior people become advisors. But everybody get together and come to Viksit Sangani, which is not just a help desk, because we can't give a solution when we do not know the problem. So basically Viksit Sangani is a 1-year study where we would actually survey the problems, put them together and create a report which we will take to the authorities and say, we have connected with women. We have helped women throughout the year with 1 month connect sessions of different people coming in from different stakeholders that would help women in their problems. We document it with surveys and a report, and then we take a report and say, this is what are the gaps. These are the pain points.
Great.
Help us. I think if we help ourselves and then go to any authority for help, it helps them understand, otherwise they have to start it. So it's amazing that privately we are able to do it, because I feel in Bhubaneswar the community is very well connected. It's beautifully connected, and why not? And because we are entrepreneurs, we know the pains, and over time we have seen many they still stop at table sales and exhibitions. There's no scalability, but there are provisions, but we just can't seem to cross those barriers. So by helping everybody, we are also helped, and maybe there will be a change. So that's how the Sari Readathon is basically the fun factor of bringing everyone together to be part of Viksit Sangani and take the journey forward. So every month we will have Sari Readathons. The first one being in Ekamra. I do hope it would be really amazing for women, because women and saris are something that you cannot separate. So we bring reading and
That's
mental
great.
wellness through it. Yeah.
Definitely. देन मैडम आपण केमिति ए जो बुक टॉप रे जॉइन कले तापरे धीरे धीरे बहुत सारा कार्यक्रम मध्य करूछंती तेबे जो माने अननोन पीपल थिबे से माने किपरि आपण को बुक टॉप रे जॉइन करि परिबे
We have a website, also groups, and we are located at Rasulgad in Shanti Nivas, just before Esplanade. So we also have the book, it's called The Book Turf.
Okay.
We have Instagram handles, and usually it spreads word of mouth, and we go, okay, we didn't advertise, but we felt book reading is something that needs to grow word of mouth, and people need to come. Rather than advertising, it's not a purely commercial business. It is something that the community has to grow it, and that's what's been happening. It's growing, it's spreading, and I think initiatives like this that we come up with, which is unique and different, is what adds the interest, because we just don't want to be a library, we want to be a hub. But this year we have a very clear strategy in what we're doing. Sari reading is one part of it. Book Turf is now a creative hub for analog. That is, no digital. You put your digital away, there's books, there's art, there's hobbies, every hobby under the sun. You can come with your family, spend a morning, do art together, read, talk, things that we used to take for granted as kids.
No age group barrier.
No.
Okay.
It's from youngsters right up to seniors, and our members are like that. So this is what we are taking analog back into fashion. And we say, you need a place, you need a break, Book Turf is the place. Come in.
Nice.
We have kits put together where we create our own, where it starts from 150, 200. You pick up a canvas, you sit and you get lost into it, or you pick up a book, have a coffee and read. As simple as that. And whoever's in the library, have conversations with them. And also, because we are who we are, a lot of interesting people come and meet us. So we have people from the film industry coming in, we have people who have very different startups coming in, and because we are unique and we are connected to community, they're like, can we work together? So we end up creating programs where everybody get connected. That's what we do.
It means some people will recall their memories
Always, always. And especially when we have programs like this, like when we had the Sari Readathon at Royal Lagoon, we asked a very lovely neighbor of mine, Sabita Patnaik ma'am. We asked her, ma'am, you are an amazing storyteller. Would you like to lead that session of Sari reading with our neighbors? And ma'am being ma'am, she said, we'll do a story web. So she brought rope and she had an original story which she wrote and she narrated it, and then she made all the women sit in a circle, and every woman who spoke randomly, the rope would go to them, and at the end 30 women together connected with rope. It was a sari web of everybody talking about their sari journey. It was a beautiful way of going back down memory line of so many different generations. There were young people, there were senior citizens, but I have to appreciate in our community there were some gentlemen, and they said, why are only women talking about saris? Why not men? So they gave in their input on how they bought their saris and how saris were important to them growing up. So it was a wonderful way of everybody opening up and connecting.
Great. Then how you manage your personal life and work life? Is this too difficult to answer?
It is not difficult. It will catch me out on the fact that I do push the limits, because see, right now we are a family that lives across countries and continents. We are basically 4 of us, my husband, myself and my 2 daughters. 2 years ago my elder daughter moved to Sydney to do her graduation, so she is in Australia. My husband works out of Dubai, so he's in Dubai. The younger one, she's in 9th going to 10th, and me live in Bhubaneswar, and we have a little doggy at home. So I could do a lot because my family is very adjusting and cooperative, and also maybe I do not have a typical family setup wherein I have to do breakfast, lunch, dinner, and that gives me a lot of freedom to explore and do things that I can do. It's difficult, no doubt. I've come from a very convenient life in Dubai where everything was convenience personified, to Orissa where, be it anything, there's no other adult in my life other than me. So even if I have to cook a meal, and I love cooking and especially love cooking Oriya food, and for me coming to Orissa was my chance to completely immerse in the culture, and I had to teach my kids everything about Oriya culture because they have an Oriya surname and that's part of the culture. And Elena and Anika.
Wow,
yes.
nice.
So I actually did everything thanks to Google, because now there's no elders in our family or they're all too old. Google helped. So, and Orissa is famous for its festivals. So I have done Manabasa, I have done everything from the Chitta to the Pitta. Yes. I wanted to teach my children that. I took them to all the temples. So they go, they sit on the floor, they eat abada, they know their culture. We have gone to programs where they learn about it. So they know what it is, because our culture is so rich and we cannot let it go. And now they also love old songs, they love saris, and they also love everything about things. So when they need to, and they love the simple life also.
Odia khaiba kon bhal lage apanko?
But actually during my wedding I didn't realize we are from the south. In those days, in the 90s, potol was never available in the south. So because it's an Oriya wedding, even though it was in Jamshedpur, potol had to be on the menu, and that happened to be my most favorite thing. I would eat potol every day, and I would ask, because I was the bride, can I have fried potol every day? And that's when my love of Oriya food started, with a love for potol. And my mother-in-law is an amazing cook, and me being curious and asking, tell me about your food. She would love all my food, the South Indian. She'll say, you make your chutneys, you make this. And I'll say, okay, you teach me the curries. And I don't know, I just fell in love with the mustard curry, soruso bata and everything. And slowly today I love cooking Oriya food. Our food at home is a mix of Oriya, South Indian and Western food. but there is a place for every meal, every dish on the table.
ପଖାଳ କେବେ ଖାଇଛନ୍ତି?
You know, when we were in Dubai, Kanak's eldest sister is my best friend. They used to live in Dubai. I mean, she was my first ambassador to everything Oriya as a new bride. Her name is Mukta. Mukta, hi. And she introduced me, she and Umesh. Umesh was my husband's batchmate for industrial training in catering college. So they both trained in Chennai together. And when we met in Dubai, there was no way we couldn't be friends. So when it came to pakal, she introduced pakal to me. So in Dubai, a rohu fish is like 2 feet long. How would a family of 2 actually eat such a big fish? So a few more friends who were also my husband's friends, also from Oriya, but they're Telugu but Oriya based. So we all used to go and shop together. We'd buy a whole fish and share it among the families. And the day we went shopping was the day we would come home. We would make fried fish. Everybody would make something. The fried fish, the fish curry, the aloo bartha, and the bagan bartha, and the vegetables, the sago, and the thing. We would make it and we would have pakal together. So 3 families used to sit and have pakal. So that is my first introduction of pakal. Pakal, santula, they are firm favorites. They were firm favorites even when we were in Dubai. And today also they are part of my family menu.
ଯେମିତିକି ମ୍ୟାଡ଼ାମ୍ ଆପଣ କହୁଥିଲେ ମାଣବସା ପୂଜା କରିଛନ୍ତି, ଚିତା ପକାଇଛନ୍ତି। ଆମର ଓଡ଼ିଶାରେ ପିଠାପଣା ବହୁତ ପ୍ରକାର ହୁଏ, ମଣ୍ଡା ପିଠା, ଛଣା ପିଠା, ସେସବୁ ଖାଇବାକୁ ଭଲ ପାଆନ୍ତି ନା ନାହିଁ?
ବହୁତ ଭଲ ପାଉଛି। And also I love making it.
Okay.
And so it is very nice. So all the different pitas I have learned to make it. And
କେବେ ଜଗନ୍ନାଥଙ୍କ ପାଖକୁ ଯାଇଛନ୍ତି ମନ୍ଦିର ବୋଲି?
okay, when we got married in 1996, Preetham's bada mummy and daddy gave us a ticket, a gift voucher to a hotel in Puri. So the first thing when we left Preetham's home and we're going back to Chennai, back to our jobs, the first stop was Lord Jagannath's place, and that was my first visit to Puri and to Lord Jagannath before we started our journey together. So we came immediately after our marriage and we visited Puri, and that was 1996. But that's the time when the Lord was not the festival of where the Lord goes into seclusion because he's sick. It was that time, so I did not get a darshan, but I went there, and that blessing was what started us. And I think whatever has come in our life has come because of that. And in 2015 we were part of the Oriya community, and Dr. Chandrasekhar was he's a very charismatic leader, and he wanted to have a festival of Orissa there, and he called Gajapati Maharaj and Madam to Orissa. And because my husband is in the food industry, he ended up making something like a bada or close to a bada for it. So we worked very closely. The children danced Odissi dance. I came to Orissa during the summer and I picked up all the costumes and jewelry for all the children dancing, and I went. And that's when we met sir and ma'am, Gajapati ji and ma'am, and we were just talking about moving at that time. We were thinking we need to move, and sir said, I can see Preeti settling in Orissa, but I don't know about Preetham. So I felt, when you meet sir and ma'am and sir gives you that confidence that you can settle after meeting me twice, and we spent some time together, I felt that's a calling. So I guess I needed to be here, and it is Lord Jagannath's call. And yes, ever after that, whenever anybody visit, we do visit Lord Jagannath. And I think in Preetham's family, I'm the first one who actually started running to Puri every time the chariots came out, 4 o'clock in the morning. And I started that tradition, and my husband was like, none of us ever did that. And I said, why not? And that's the beauty of it. And it was nice to find people to go with also. And those experiences cannot be spoken about. It's just a connection with the soul. And I feel he's a guide to everything that we do. And I think I'm here because he wants me here.
बहुत सुंदर मैडम आपण ओडिशा को आसिले ओडिशा को भल पाई बसिले तार प्रतिटी कल्चर है से सब को मध्य बहुत माने सुंदरतार सहित आपणे नेले धीरे धीरे आ भितर बहुत काम मध्य कले वर्क एक्सपीरियंस है बहुत लोकों सहित मिसिले निजको एम्पावर कले तेबे समस्त महिला मानक पाई कौन मेसेज दबाक चाहिए जो मैंने घरे रह जाउछंती से मानक स्वप्न को पूर्ण करि पारु नाहंती.
First thing is to reach out. Don't be alone in your problems, because when we sit with our problem, it is very big. But when we reach out and share, there's always someone who's had that experience and who's walked that path. And when you share it with someone, and when you have somebody, that's why the name Sangini came in.
Yes.
Reach out, because we tend to internalize so much, which is also stress. Reach out. I mean, I could not have settled in Orissa so beautifully if I didn't reach out. I reached out. I asked for help, and strangers have helped me. So if they can help me, why not you? You live in such a beautiful place, and the society is so beautiful here. Like, it brings me back memories of my childhood growing up. The city has become modern, but the culture and the thoughts are still so much like home. So that's the beauty of it. We should not lose it. We need to reach out. Don't be alone. Definitely don't suffer alone. There's someone, there is a help desk now for urban women. Reach Viksit Sangini. Let us help each other. I would say that, because I feel it's the hardest when you're alone. And when someone goes through depression does not have an injury that you can heal.
Yes.
It's internal. And for a woman who wears many caps and runs many roles, it's very hard for her to tell anybody, I have a problem. And it gets worse. It gets into autoimmune diseases. It's that silence which is very hard. And that silence, you may not realize it, but it does affect everyone around you. And it definitely affects your quality of life. And we are meant to be happy, and we have to, and we are community people. We can't be isolated. So never isolate yourself because you're feeling down. It's okay to be down. It's okay to be sad, but it's definitely not okay not reaching out. That's what I would say. Please reach out.
Definitely.
It's difficult. Reaching out and asking for help is the most difficult thing for a woman to do, but that is something which is a learned thing. Take a small step, even a small step, but remember, that's the bravest thing you will do, and it gets better. It doesn't get worse. I believe that.
थैंक यू सो मच मैम आमर विशेष कार्यक्रम जोड़ी ही
Thank you.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. नमस्कार.
Namaskar. Thank you.
तेबे लिसनर्स आशा करछि आपण समस्त को मध्य आजर कार्यक्रमटी निहाती भाबरे भल लागिथिबो एवं आपण माने मध्य बहुत किछि कथा शिखिबा को पाइथिबे. वर्तमान तो समय इशारे देलानी आजर कार्यक्रम को एठी रखिबा एवं आम सहित जोड़ी हिथिबा अस्मिता को विदाय दबा. मु पुणी थरे आपण मानकु भेटी देबी एही कार्यक्रम रे आउ जणे नुआ अस्मिता सहित एवं जानि नबा तांकर से जीवन यात्रार के पद कथा. नमस्कार.
आपण सुनुछंती 90.4 सोआ रेडियो.